Welcome back to New Rockstars. The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer blew up the internet this week, but there was one big old thing we missed in this trailer that we have to own up to, and it surrounds the big money shot of Deadpool and Wolverine leaping into a sling-ring portal. The gist is either we were wrong and this moment is a big misdirect by the film's marketing, or Ryan Reynolds is wrong about MCU multiverse logic and it's even cooler than we realize. This is the Sneak Peek, New Rockstars weekly show where we look ahead to the future of fandom. I'm Erik Voss, here with co-host Jessica Clemons.
Let's f***ing go!
Let's go! Back when I had roommates, Monopoly nights were a real thing. But now that we're spread out around the city, it's harder to get together, but playing Monopoly Go is super easy. Monopoly Go is everything I loved about Monopoly. Like, yes, you still roll the dice and go around the board, earn Monopoly money, collect rent, but also there's bank heists where you steal Monopoly money from friends, and shutdowns where you can target your friends' landmarks, just in case you're the troll of your friend group. You can take the Monopoly money you get from destroying and heisting and use it to build up an empire of your own in major cities around the world like New York and London. Honestly though, my personal favorite is building up the monuments in each city. There's something so satisfying about completing a board and then moving on to the next one and seeing all the new stuff I get to build next. Keep in touch with friends, meet other players in the game, or invite them to join your adventure. Just open your friends and family tab to spread the excitement of this gameplay experience. Plus, now there's even more to do. Monopoly Go is celebrating an awesome event called Anniversary Treasures Dig with a series of rewards including special anniversary emojis, tokens, and cheats. Join the minigames where every day you can play, win, and make the most of the moment. Build an empire of your own by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code and downloading Monopoly Go for free now. This was a huge week for New Rockstars. You know, Monday saw a drop of the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, and it came out 6 a.m. our time. And ever since that minute, we've just been nonstop working our butts off. We had a trailer reaction and a trailer breakdown. We had a special episode of The Break Room to discuss this trailer that you all need to go watch because it directly inspired this conversation here. There's a new episode of X-Men 97 that confirmed our Bastion theories. There was a Break Room after show discussion over what Bastion's plan is. Then there was a new episode of Bad Batch that we did a video about. Jessica and Brandon have spent all week on finishing this full season breakdown of Fallout that's going to be coming out on Tuesday. And then Jessica also just came out with this great video about Cassandra Nova's plan because we don't think she's the real villain of Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, she's not. But she is a villain nonetheless. Nonetheless. Still a bad guy.
Oh, she's a real piece of shit. But not the ultimate bad of this movie, I don't think. We also got our we look back at Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. But there was one detail about our Deadpool and Wolverine trailer breakdown that we have to address. It concerns the big shot of Deadpool and Wolverine leaping through the sling-ring portal, the sparkle portal. And let's see exactly what I said in the breakdown. And then they take the huge leap from the eye hole of the Ant-Man skull, and then they leap into a sling-ring portal. And one of these must have been cast by a sorcerer. Maybe Doctor Strange, or Wong, or the Ancient One, or America Chavez, or Rintrah, or I guess technically Ned. In Spider-Man No Way Home, sling-ring portals just like this were used to open a rift between universes. No. Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker's into the MCU. And I feel like that's where these two are
Don't
headed.
eat yourself up
the
about
lighting
it.
within Alliance behind this portal flickers just as they cross
All my
the
enemies
threshold,
are, though.
which gives the shot some great purple versus
Everyone who's
gold
got an
color
axe to
contrast,
grind
as
against
these
me
two are silhouetted
harped on this
white.
detail
And it
this
recalls
week.
how in Spider-Man No
And
Way
man,
Home,
they
the
got
purple
me for
reality
it.
rifts showed incursions between universes. Now notice how this trailer whites out the destination.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to look like that in the movie. I think they just left it blank in this trailer to avoid a huge spoiler, and it lets our imaginations wander to fill in that blank canvas. But think about it. What setting would be
Monday,
so
Erik
iconic that we
looks
would
so
recognize it
tired.
immediately?
Yeah,
I'm
you
thinking
were
this
probably
is
up
going
for
to
like
be one of the
40
portals
hours.
that Wong opened
Somehow.
to the front
I
line
didn't get
that much
Avengers Endgame. And we're going to cycle back to that moment, and right as it says you wanted more, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to walk right in the frame.
This is what we want.
See a replay of the Battle of Earth. Like, we're going to hear Deadpool say, I am Deadpool, as he snaps the Infinity Stone in Tony Stark's place to kill Thanos.
I made a mistake there. I suggested that sling-ring portals can open rifts between universes. I didn't just suggest it, I said it. And I also said that that's what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home when Ned opened the portals to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But that is not accurate. I'm sorry. Tobey and Andrew had already transferred over to the MCU from the universes a couple days prior. They were just in different parts of the city at that moment. They transferred over because Doctor Strange's Runes of Call spell had gone awry. That was the same process that brought over Norman Osborn, Doc Ock, Lizard, Sandman, and Electro. Sling rings are only supposed to work within a single universe, and they allow someone to cross from one geographical point in space to another point in space within that universe. Now, a lot of people do look back at that moment in No Way Home as Ned opening the portals across universes, and a lot of people were screaming at this point of the movie in the movie theater, so a lot of dialogue that did get missed. I apologize for not being clear and accurate about this in my breakdown. It does force us to go back and re-examine what is really happening in this moment, and everyone needs to go watch, if you haven't already, Monday's episode of The Break Room. There was a bigger conversation about where Deadpool and Wolverine could be jumping to. They discussed how America Chavez's star-shaped portals can open rifts to other universes. That's what they did in Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, and America Chavez is a sorcerer who can cast sling-ring portals. We do not expect to see America Chavez in Deadpool and Wolverine. We're just saying that some sorcerers might have the ability to cast sling ring portals through the borders of reality itself. The reason I'm kicking myself over this is that I did an investigation on the Deep Dive channel. It was actually the first official video on launch day, and I broke down my whole history with trailer analysis and how trailer editors will often include what I call hero shots. These are the shots that precede the title reveal at the end of a trailer, and like 70% of the time, there's something deceptive about those hero shots. It either gets changed or tinkered or just completely scrapped when you see this shot in the theatrical release of the film. And this portal shot right here is like a classic example of a hero shot. They clearly left the destination blank so they can fill it in later, and there's definitely a lot more going on in the context of this shot than we realize. Like Cassandra Nova is sitting off to the side. She is smiling at Wade and Logan as they make this jump, so we don't really know what's going on here. So we're now facing kind of like a dilemma as we try to figure this out. Is it possible that Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy might also have a loose interpretation of sling ring portal logic, and that they might be using this portal to jump into the 616 universe in the Battle of Earth and Endgame? Are they okay with breaking the rules? Or are they governed by the rules? And could the fact that this wasteland looks like a post-incursion universe with fragile borders of the multiverse, Alioth is actively devouring it in the background of this shot, could that make sling ring portals capable of breaking that wall into another universe and just kind of like rewriting the rules, and that when we watch this movie, we're going to be okay with it?
I think they're going to be aware of it, because I think even if there's that Bible, that question about the sling rings is always one that's constantly Googled of how it works and how much it can reach. So I'm sure they thought about it and were like, no, it's still within these worlds. So I think whatever this is, if it's the void or wherever it is post land, I think that sling ring is still being sent on that world. So I don't think you're wrong when you're wrong, but you don't. It could still be a Ned there or a Doctor Strange that was there that was taken, or something else there, because it doesn't mean that there's still not a sling ring being used in that universe. So it's like there could be still someone there that is using it, that is in control of the mystic arts. It could be Wong that's on that planet randomly. But I think they know the laws of what the sling ring can and can't do, especially because you even noticed in the trailer how much of the stuff in the room looked like Carmitage. I was like, oh, she clearly has taken a lot of shit from Carmitage, but the sling ring, unless someone else there in the vicinity has a sling ring. Or she just used it and let them go. I think she willingly let them go, because I was like, you're not chasing after them, and you don't care where they're going.
I think that normally, absolutely, they would jump from the sling ring and then we would end up in another part of the wasteland. Like maybe this fight here actually precedes where they end up later in front of the 20th Century Fox logo. And it's just like they get to her and then she's like, get out. And then they get mad at each other afterwards.
I could see that being how Cassandra plays the game. She's like, just leave.
I think she does have a sling ring. I think she has, like, she's acquiring different relics from across like the Marvel multiverse. But I do think it is possible. Like, we're looking at a post-incursion universe that shares some borders with both like Universe 10005, and it has elements of the MCU that are dumped there as well, or just like alternate versions of the MCU, maybe alternate Marvel realities. But I think either way, they exist. They occupy this kind of like accidental hodgepodge patchwork of a post-incursion landscape, to where the boundaries of that universe are already kind of weakened, and the metaphysics of that universe are already weakened. So why not a magical sling ring have the ability? I mean, the Runes of Koth Call, the spell that brought in Toby and Andrew and all the others in No Way Home, traverses the borders between known and unknown realities. And the runes of
Yeah.
Kafkal already destabilize the boundaries between universes. So why couldn't it be possible that in a universe that was like just receiving the brunt end of an incursion, couldn't cast a sling ring, and that because its borders of reality are already so undefined and unknown that that glitch couldn't open them up into another universe like the 616?
I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I don't know enough about this, but I still do think that the sling ring would still abide by like space and time. And if we're in a planet or whatever this is that is a world built from incursions of other realities, that probably exists outside of a world that can accept the incursions. But so I'm like, that would probably exist outside of space and time. I just feel like the sling ring would still have to abide by those laws, not because it has to, not because it's free, but just because it's like, oh, my powers can only work so far. I'm just a sling ring. I'm not this, unless someone very powerful was using it. They could, but that's also the thing. It's Deadpool, so they could just say fuck it and make it go from another universe to another universe. They could be jumping into the beach where Venom is. Like, they could go anywhere.
I think that we just have to acknowledge that every Marvel movie rewrites the world logic to a certain extent to suit whatever story it wants to tell. So yes, in No Way Home, it was abiding by a certain level of logic, but even No Way Home kind of rewrote the logic of the way the multiverse was supposed to work and the way like memory logic works, you know? And if anyone breaks the rules, it's Deadpool. Like, Deadpool is by his nature anomalistic. It sounds like I'm backpedaling though, and I'm like defending my own theory. I do think I was wrong in the way I explained it.
You were wrong in the way. I understand that the heart of it was wrong, but I think if you're reaching, you'd be reaching for the fact that wherever this is, there could still be someone that, because it's someone that doesn't even really need full control of the mystic arts, because that weirdo guy in She-Hulk could use a sling ring. Anyone can use a sling ring. Not anyone, but if that weirdo could, I'm sure a lot of people could. So I'm like, someone with a sling ring on that planet, in that world, wherever that is just whipping them around. And I think they noticed that, like, oh, I can either stay here with Eliath or with this crazy woman or go through this portal. And I would go through the portal too.
Normally, sling ring portals have to be like actively held by a sorcerer. And in that shot, Cassandra Nova is just kind of standing there watching. Like, you have to see like someone has a sling ring and somewhere nearby is casting it. So my thinking is that there was someone on the other side who's casting it. And that's why when I did the trailer breakdown, I was like, it's Wong. It's Wong in the moment of the Avengers Assemble in Avengers Endgame. And just like, he maybe didn't realize it, or maybe at that point, like, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, was Deadpool and Wolverine, were they there in the background and we just didn't see it? Or are they now like looping back on that point in history and we will see them kind of just, they'll use archive footage from Avengers Endgame, and they'll just kind of like VFX them into some of these shots.
That'd be funny.
Like
That'd be
Forrest
horrible
Gump,
if they do that. I kind of think they kind of did that with the Secret Wars comic. I think they're like, this is just to piss you guys off. We're not actually on Battle World. This isn't anything like that. And I'll be like, God damn it. But I could see that. I also felt like, she probably has control because it's Cassandra Nova. Like, she can mind control anyone. I was like, she probably has Wong there just opening this portal for her. But then I was like, it seems weird because she only has mutants with her. Like, even when the skull opens up for Ant-Man, it's like, there's Azazel, there's like Callisto, here's all the mutants. And I'm just like, why would Wong be there?
Of anybody they could get from the MCU who we don't already know is going to be in this movie, Wong is just kind of like the guy who's always picking up the phone to show up for cameos. And Wong would show up. I just feel like
that's true.
If you can get anybody, Benedict Wong is like, yeah, sure, I'll pop up in.
Wouldn't that show just how strong she is, though, that she could open the sling ring portal without doing the trick? She can just hold it.
It's also possible. Yeah, I mean, she's a telekinetic, like, she could just have the sling ring. She could be using a sorcerer's severed hand off screen, like she just cut off Mordo's hand, and it's just like floating there, and then she's using it, like wrapping it around. Like, she could totally do that, you know.
And respectfully, there's like with how they trailers, they are missing a complete, like, there's Cassandra Nova, the two jumping into the portal, then far right of the screen there's nothing there. So it's like there could be someone standing to the right that they just edited out.
What I would love is if they reuse the bit from that was cut out of Sam Raimi's cut from Multiverse of Madness, where like Scarlet Witch severed Mordo's head, and maybe we find out Cassandra Nova did that, and there's just like Chiwetel Ejiofor's like prop head, and then she's like reanimated it, and he's just like, I just want to die, and then she uses his brain and his hand to just
that'd be messed up. That'd be dirty. Great. I'd love that.
So I think we have a pretty good understanding of the different angles this could go, but just understand that the rules in No Way Home and in the past, like, are if they're going to show a sparkle portal, that they want us to like think of sorcerer magic, but there is
Mm-hmm.
something deceptive about this shot in general. I want to do something here that like our friends John Costa and Joshua Stephen Hurd used to do when we were doing like stereo stuff, and it's a segment called Comments. They were our like resident editors and would just go through and read the comments on our videos and respond to them. I want to do that with some of the comments on this Deadpool and Wolverine trailer breakdown. And it's because it's one of the more interesting comment sections I think I've seen on our videos. Normally I avoid them like the plague, but because this video trended at number 2 for over 24 hours, it might have been one of our most successful all-time videos at New Rockstars in terms of trending, because it just trended right underneath the number 1 video, which was the main
Is that a
upload of the
cat
trailer.
playing the piano?
It's just a cat just staring at the webcam. No, but we trended, which was really cool for us, but like also is a double-edged sword, because whenever New Rockstars videos trend like that, it means we're getting a whole new audience of people who don't normally subscribe to our channel. And man, people start coming after us in ways that like I'm not always familiar with, because like anyone who has ever hated New Rockstars in our existence now is forced to see our video, and it's just like, man, they just all start talking shit and they start making up shit about us, and it's just like, this is gonna be a shitty couple days. But sometimes that shows up in the comments. Sometimes people just have really insightful comments, and so this comment section is pretty fun. So I want to respond to some of these because they come up with some interesting theories and comments here. So the first one is at StrayBaseBone983, who said, he's quoting me from the video saying they have a limited budget for these cameos, and then separately, we are going to see them in Endgame. So he's making fun of the fact that I said that there would be a limited budget of cameos when it came to like I speculated that we might see Terrence Howard in this, like his next time baby, before he got recast. He could show up showing the driving the Tony Stark V16 coupe, like the Iron Man themed one. But then I said if it's not him, it would be Christine Everhart, it'd be William Ginter Riva or Harley Keener. And I said that they're going to go with some lower tier actors because their budgets aren't unlimited. But they're like, but then 5 minutes later was like, you're going to see them in Endgame. What I'm referring to is they're just going to use archive footage from Avengers Endgame, and they don't have to pay any of those actors anything if they just use archive footage from Avengers Endgame, because those actors already signed away their, I mean, maybe the actors should be paid if they use archive footage, but I don't think that's how their contracts worked. Okay, another one says, at Shara Amanda says, the irony of Wade eliminating some of those TVA agents with the branches is not lost on me. Smiley face. That's good. I love that, because like killing TVA agents with branches. Yeah, that's really, really funny. At Mommy of Mutant says the swords are going to be Doctor and Phil, since Deadpool has to act as a therapist to Wolverine. Because so what we noticed that the sword says DR on one, and we don't know what the other one says, but they used to be B and Arthur, because Deadpool's obsessed with B Arthur, so he named his swords B and Arthur. This one we just see DR on one of them. We don't know what it is, but yeah, it might be Dr. Phil, or it might be Doctor Strange, or it could be Dr.
I was thinking of like Dr. Dre. Dr. J, Dr. Seuss, There's a lot of doctors in the house.
Another comment says, my kid just brought up an interesting idea. He said, what if when Deadpool pulls his family's picture out, it's like Back to the Future, his family is fading in the picture as his universe is fading. I love that idea, because he shows the Polaroid, right? And I kind of feel like that's going to be like his token to show the status of his universe.
That's a good idea. That's funny. I could see him. There's so many jokes he's going to do in this movie, but that one is like a genuine joke I could see him doing. That's a good one.
Terror of Death 3280. I'm gonna laugh if we don't get Taylor Swift Dazzler, but Deadpool and Wolverine introduces Mephisto into the MCU.
Damn.
Man, people really think that I'm reaching with Dazzler, but it's just like, it's one of these things where I'm not making this up. I'm just like kind of reporting clues as they come up. And the final word on her new album is dazzling. Like, she's aware. I think also people don't know the full history of Taylor Swift's relationship with Dazzler. Back in 2016's X-Men Apocalypse, when she was friends with Sophie Turner posted Instagram stuff, and this was like a huge headline. Everyone thought Taylor Swift was going to appear as Dazzler in X-Men Apocalypse. And because Sophie Turner posted a photo that was like going to be a scene in the movie of her and Ty Sheridan as Cyclops in a record store holding up a Dazzler album, and she tagged Taylor Swift on the album in the Instagram photo. So everyone lost their minds. And I think this was going to be a scene. There was also separately a photo that Taylor Swift posted with James McAvoy and Simon Kinberg, who is a producer / director on the movie. So everyone's like, it's happening. And then it seems like the scene might have gotten deleted. So like, it's not like this is just a random thing that came out of nowhere. There's been like a long history of people speculating that Taylor Swift is going to show up at some point as Dazzler. Mm-hmm. And that's really what we're talking about. I think that
makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're all friends, so it makes sense. And every time people are like, oh, if I could fan cast something, it'd be Taylor Swift as Dazzler.
Yeah. And so I think people are just like rightfully overwhelmed with Taylor Swift in this past year. And I think they're just like, why are people trying to force Taylor Swift into everything? And it's like, no, before Taylor Swift really became the insane megastar, I mean, she was huge back for the past 10 years, but like there was like, this has been in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
And so this didn't come out of nowhere. This isn't like me just reaching for Mephisto theories. I'm just like pointing out the clues as they come up. I don't necessarily want this to be true. I just think it's looking very likely.
I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, in general, we just really, really appreciate everyone for like supporting us this week. I mean, we work really hard when these trailers drop. There's a whole team of editors who are working so hard on these, and like, we know that our videos come out a day later than everybody else who's talking about it. And it's just because we have editors who are working their butts off. And it's just new Rockstars. I don't know how to edit. I came into it as a journalist and a writer. So my strengths are in research and then like going back to rewatch stuff and then going back through my database of like all my notes and everything, how everything is connected. And that's why I do like X-Men rewatches, is just to keep all this fresh in my mind. And so that's my process, is like, I'm just going deep into my archives. It's just like a huge collaboration here at New Rockstars. And then we're not trying to move that fast. We want to trust our process. And I think it works for us. And I'm just really proud of our team. I'm proud of working with Jessica and with Brandon Barrick and with Evan Yee, our break room producer, with John Costa, with Gina Ippolito, our writer. And Jessica, your work this week was just so good. And I can't wait for people to see your Fallout breakdown.
2-hour video
that comes out on Tuesday, because it's going to be a long, long video, but you know, it's such a good show, and the work that you did and Brandon did and John did. And again, that's when you guys see it, it's going to be another like full team effort, and it's going to be
that
such
full
a great
one.
video.
Noah Chen really went to town on that for me. I was, which you guys will see in my video, that I was mourning and not doing a good job. But I talk about it at the beginning of the video, and I thank you guys for being patient while I had to finish mourning to write that video.
Looking ahead, so that Fallout full season breakdown's coming out on Tuesday. We have our the next episode of X-Men 97, episode 8, Tolerance is Extinction, part 1. We hope you guys rewatch the One Man's Worth storyline from the 90s run the season 4, because we're going into time travel. Cable's taking us through time, and we're gonna like revisit history, timelines. It's gonna be confusing, but we got you covered here at New Rockstars. Also, the finale of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Now, we don't have a screener for it. We don't know what's going to happen in that finale, but our breakdown of it might have to come out on Friday, because we want to spend all of Wednesday and Thursday on X-Men 97. We're going to close out with a segment of What We're Watching. And Jess, is there anything in particular that you are watching this week that we otherwise would not talk about on the New Rockstars channel or the Break Room channel?
Vanderpump Rules. And I hope there is never a day that we ever break this down or talk about it on the channel, because when it does, I will. I have been recently remembering what Tina Fey said on Bowen and I think his name's Matt. I can't remember his name. Their podcast, where it says that you have a digital footprint now. And I forget that on the Break Room, on this, I talk shit about a lot of movies. I talk a lot of shit about a lot of things. And so I'm trying to be mindful now and be like, yeah, that digital footprint, if I ever become friends with like Jennifer Lopez, she's gonna know I really hate her. But also, I don't. If Jennifer Lopez finds this, I don't care. I'm gonna stand by that. That's insane to not stand by that. But Vanderpump Rules, still watching it, still being upset with the world. What about you? I don't even want to talk about it.
I've been watching a lot of stuff for work, so I feel like you're gonna see me talk about a new Rockstars in other ways. But one thing that you won't see me talk about is we were sharing this on Slack this week. So there's the Legally Blonde musical.
Oh, I love Legally Blonde musical.
And this video, you can find it on YouTube. It came out like 8 years ago, but it just recently resurfaced in the past week or so. And it's called Courtney, Take Your Break. It's a compilation video of a bunch of like high school and middle school and theater camp productions of the Love or Legally Blonde the musical. I almost said Love Actually the musical. Legally Blonde the musical. And it's the opening number called Oh My God, You Guys, where like Elle Woods is going through the day where she thinks she's going to be proposed to at the end of the day, and she goes to the dress shop, and then like the dress saleswoman is like, I'm going to take the label off this and I'm going to fool this dumb blonde. And then Elle is like, well, if it used this type of stitching, the silk would crimp and fold and wrinkle. And then she goes, also, I'm not going to pay this year's prices for last year's dress. And then everyone's like, oh my God. And then the musical, there's a line where it's like the owner of the dress shop goes, oh my God, honey, my mistake. Courtney, take your break. I don't know what's going through her head or whatever. And then like, it's a great moment in the musical, but all these high school girls, these middle school girls love this musical, as they should, and they all want to restage it, but not all of them are the best singers because they're still finding their voices. And then someone made a compilation. It's kind of mean.
Don't be mean.
It's kind of
Why
mean.
would you watch
but
this?
It's like, honestly, I watched it because I was that kid. I was the kid who thought that my take on Bye Bye Birdie is going to change the world.
I wish someone would have watched my videos.
And then if there was a video of me, it would be humiliating because I still am not a good singer.
Is there video of you? Were you Conrad?
I don't think, no. I was like ensemble. I don't think I had a lead part. I had a named part when we did Pippin.
You probably started to sing the telephone hour.
Yeah, going steady. I wasn't even...
Going steady.
Hello, Mrs. Frankel. This is Harvey Weinstein.
Were you the ugly kid? Erik.
Harvey Johnson is the name of the character. I was not Harvey though.
It is.
I was not.
It is. That was the ugly kid in the music.
Yeah. So, but if you ever did high school theater, you should watch this video montage because it will take you back to where, like, it's not always the kid's fault. Sometimes the microphone is cutting in and out. Sometimes just the acoustics aren't good. And I think the reason this blew up on Twitter in the past week is like, so, we have a certain political figure in this country who's going through trials right now. And everyone's like, he just needs to get his Elle Woods. And he thinks he's going to just find the beautiful blonde who everyone underestimates, who's going to be his defense attorney, who's going to catch someone in a gotcha. What do you mean? Shouldn't you know if you got a perm in the past day that you can't get it wet, otherwise it'll ruin the perm? And then it was like, oh my God, I actually killed them. And they think that, like, that's his defense strategy, is to just get an Elle Woods. So I think that caused people to be like, oh my God, remember Legally Blonde the musical? And then SNL saw this video montage and then did a version they did a sketch about it where it's like A.D. Bryant and Cecily Strong and Kate McKinnon are like, they're doing like kids in the dressing room who are like, I can't believe they let us do Legally Blonde the musical. It's gonna be so good. Our voices harmonized. We sing like one. And then cut to them on stage and they're like,
Stop.
And that was me. That's shit I would do. So I remember it.
No.
Anyway.
I was dancing on that goddamn stage.
You were dancing, drinking wine, making love. All right, everybody. We've gone off the rails, but thank you so much for watching. Follow Jessica at Lulu_Clemons. Follow me at EA Voss. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars Network. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.